When people come over to your abode for a board game, do they look at the instructions for Ticket to Ride and deem it too complicated? Do they see the tiny words in the love letter rulebook and scoff at its potential convolution? These are incredibly easy games to learn. I'm not trying to use my judgmental voice here. In fact, I can kind of sympathise with those that just can't be bothered to learn a tabletop game no matter how simple it is. No one comes around your house to hear about how they can become a colourful railway tycoon, or learn how to woo a princess, or find out that they're figments of the imagination of a man who sits alone all day filming videos and playing games and are told they can leave at any time but find themselves weirdly tethered to the very mind that created them. But if you're ever in the pickle where you don't have anything quickfire to play with those who can't wrap their heads around rulebooks, you need Dobble. Dobble has you and up to 7 other players slamming your coffee table so hard you'll likely pummel it into the Earth's core. All it is 55 cards with a bunch of different symbols on, but all together it makes 5 games in one. 5 games I'm going to blast through right now at lightning speed as well I might. In the Towering Inferno, a stack of cards is placed face up in the centre of the table, whilst each player gets 1 card each. Players have to find a symbol on their card that matches one in the centre of the table. Once they do it, they shout out what it is and take that card, revealing a new one underneath. The person with the most cards when all the cards in the centre have run out wins. The Well is exactly the same, except players are trying to get rid of a deck of cards they're given by shouting out the symbol that matches the one in the centre of the table and chucking it in. In the Hot Potato, each player is given a card. After revealing it simultaneously, they have to find a symbol on their card that matches another player's, shout it out and slap their hand quite hard with it. The hardness of how hard you hit a hand there is kind of trivial. Please don't hit someone's hand clean off. In Gotta Catch 'Em All, a centre card is surrounded by a bunch of random cards. Once a player finds a symbol on any of the surrounding card that matches one on the centre card, they take that and keep that in their own personal pile. The person with the most cards at the end of that game wins. And in the Poison Gift, each player is given a card but has to find a symbol on another player's card that matches one in the centre. As soon as they do that, they take the centre card and place it on top of that poor player's card. Player with the fewest cards at the end of the game wins that one. It's Snap, basically, but far, far sexier, although I probably wouldn't recommend you making love to it or anything. Although maybe you could. I don't know how liberal this channel is yet, so I guess if you find a way and it makes you both happy. Anyway, before you all sneer me into oblivion for suggesting such a simple game, may I just say it's actually incredibly clever, not because of the multiple game modes it comes with, but because of one very simple yet incredibly ingenious mechanic that lies under all this. Each card has 8 symbols on them, but only one of those symbols is identical to every other card in the deck, leaving the other 7 to be complete red herrings that can flip on the fly. You must create this grand mathematical equation thing, which I'm not going to go into here because this isn't game theory and I have the attention span of a... Because you're all looking for such a specific thing without any clarity on what it is under time pressure, it creates more drama and tension than most games that are triple the price or length. The slightest of tweaks to symbols can also just completely alter the way you interpret the game, or rather your brain does. Simply altering the size of a symbol you've grown accustomed to, or placing 2 symbols on a card that are the same colour, is enough to drive your brain absolutely mental, causing optical illusions that don't really exist and are therefore completely humiliating. You'll be mumbling more swear words than you will legitimate matches. I know I use hyperbole a lot, but Dobble is the gaming equivalent of crystal meth. If you walked in on anyone playing it, you'd find everyone's eyes jittering about the place, failing to focus on anything in particular. You'd find their hands kind of doing the same thing, as if they're trying to air DJ, if that's even a thing. You'll find them forgetting what a dog is called and accidentally calling it a tree, and failing a match based on the daftest of errors. It doesn't matter how high your IQ is, it doesn't matter how cool you are under pressure. Everything in Dobble is enough to get you into a tizzy, and when a game ends, you'll just want to have another one straight away. Personally, my favourite games come with more tenacity and aggressiveness. I always know the Poison Gift rules off by heart just in case of an emergency, but if you don't like certain games with certain aspects, it's easy to just cull them all together and forget about them. You'll get the same level of enjoyment out of the whole thing. I love Dobble because it's a good game, but I also love Dobble because it's got me out of a fair amount of jams in the past. It's perfect for gatherings of people of various different gaming backgrounds, but at the same time it's also perfect just to play in between other games or before a pizza arrives or something, because games are so fast and frantic they're guaranteed to be over just like that. You can play one of the 5 mini games that come with it, or a grand tournament as detailed in the manual for more dramatic flair, and it's just £10. And even if you're not willing to pay that much for it, if you don't think it warrants that price tag, you can get the app, which is a fraction of the price and comes with customizable cards, more game modes, and it even comes in HD. Just make sure if you do get that, you don't slam your hand down as hard as you would do in the real game, though, or you'll probably break your iPad screen. Thanks, Grandma.